Alright, I was going to do a video and then I realized I wasn't recording any sound. So we're going to start all over. It's raining here in Wisconsin again, no surprise. So I decided I'm going to do a little upgrade on the Hawk, and we're going to change this rear sprocket out right here, and we're going to put right now there's a 52 sprocket on there, and we're going to put a 45 on, and that came from JT Sprocket. I got this off Amazon, and that's the 45 tooth. So kind of didn't get any of this recorded because there was no sound, but there's a first thing I did, there was a chain guard that was mounted in the back. I took that off. There's two bolts, 8mm bolts, holding that on. And then I removed the chain. I rotated it around, found the master link, and used a flat screwdriver on the open end of the master link and just tapped it with a hammer, popped the link open. Then you just used a smaller screwdriver, rotated the clip, and lifted the clip off. You got to be careful you don't bend that clip, or else it's going to be a bugger getting it back on. You may not even get it back on. So that master link clip, you want to make sure that that's flat. If you get it twisted, it won't lock back in. So you got to be kind of push it from the open end back, rotate it a little bit, and you can kind of fish it off there. But that's where I'm at, and then I'm going to get a better light. Okay, got us a little bit of light so we can see what we're doing here. Next thing I did was I took this brake caliper off. That's bolted in the back here. There's two 12mm bolts in there to hold it on. Mine were not very tight, so that might be something, people, if you never took it off, check it. When I put it back together, I'm going to make sure Loctite goes on there. You definitely don't want that falling off on you. So that's where we're at. I wasn't sure if I should take that off or not, but it looks like it's going to make things a little bit easier. You don't have that in the way. Next step I'm going to do here is going to take this bolt out, loosen this nut up, take that bolt out, and that should take the axle right out. So we're going to get at it. Another thing that we had on here was I picked up this lift, and it's been working really good. I got it from Harbor Freight. It was $99 on sale. See that? It says Strongway on it. See the part number on there, 1,500 pounds. Let's pump it with a foot. It's pretty stable. I also put two straps on the back, just for safety wise. They're not real tight, but just in case, just to kind of hold the back wheel up a little more, because it wants to lift more in the front than the back. But this was a really good investment. I've been using it a lot since I bought this bike, doing fixing on it and what have you. It's coming in really handy. So that's where we're at. I'm going to get at this back wheel here, get that axle out, and then we'll get back to you. Alright, we got the tire off. Alright, I just took the nut off. Took a bigger screwdriver and tapped the bolt through. This piece actually came off with it. That was in between there. That's what held the brake caliper on. The adjusters came out. Basically they fell out, but there's the nut bolt. When I put it back together, I'm going to grease all this up. So that's that. And we got one tire off. Now we're going to get this set up and get these 4 nuts off. Alright, I got the sprocket off. See right here, there is a snap ring that you have to take off, and it is a bugger to get off. But I actually did get it off with a snap ring pliers. Took a little fandangling to get it because it's not really, the pliers are just a little bit too small for it. But I kind of got one side started and worked my way around and got it to come off. This is the difference between the size. It's just a little, I don't know what you'd say, it's almost a ½ inch almost difference between the bottoms of the gear. But that's it, it's off. Kind of losing my light here, but yeah, this is the snap ring, and it fits right in this groove here, and it is a bugger to get off. I used this pliers here, just kind of spreading the pliers open, and that's all. Just kept working. I got one side off and worked myself around and eventually got it off. But it's hard to find a good snap ring pliers. They're all kind of cheap. These are just, I don't know. But it's off. Now I just got to put the other one on, and we'll be all set here. I'm going to put the other one on, get that snap ring back on, and we'll be set. So we're trying to put it back together here. You can see I got my snap ring started. It's off just a little bit on this side. I'm going to use a screwdriver here and kind of tap around it until I get it seated in a groove. It's getting hard to see with the light and everything, but we're going to try and get it seated back into that groove there. Okay, we got her in there. Looks like it's seated all the way around. I rotated the ring around just to make sure. Got a few nicks in it now, but I got her. But we got her in. Now the next part is we're going to put these bolts on, and we're going to put some. Kind of run out of light here. See if I can get this in some light. We're going to put some Loctite on there too. And let me try to find my Loctite. Okay, so we got the Loctite, and this is the kind of Loctite I would recommend using. This is a 271. It's the red stuff. This is a high strength. This is more for like a permanent type thing. There's also a blue Loctite that they make. I don't know if yeah, there's a blue type Loctite. This is a medium strength. This is for something that, I guess if you wanted to take it apart later, it's a little easier to get it apart. But this stuff here is like something it's considered permanent. So I would recommend using the red. Alright, I got the rear sprocket back on. I could not find anything that tells me what the torque goes at. I looked all over online and stuff, but I put on the red Loctite. I impacted them, and then I went back over with a hand wrench or bar and tightened them down a little more, just to make sure they're tight. But that's pretty much the only thing I could do. They didn't seem like they were really that tight. I took them off with a small impact, They didn't seem a lot real tight, but I think they're tighter than what they were originally, and they have Loctite on, so I should be okay. Alright, here's where we're at. We got the axle bolt back in. I put some grease on the axle bolt, and I greased it up as much as I could inside. It does push grease out. Uh-oh, what's my light here? Light malfunction here. You know, it does push grease out on the bolt. I took some, this is an engine degreaser, or you can use whatever, lighter fluid, whatever, but I cleaned the threads off on this bolt. You know, I don't think you'd want grease on this axle bolt, because you're going to put the nut on there, you're going to put Loctite on there, and with the Loctite, I don't think it's going to set up with the grease in there. I think the combination of two, I don't think it's going to work. So I cleaned it up, and that's where we're at. I'm going to put this spacer on here, so I'm going to put the nut on, put some Loctite, start threading that nut on. I'm not going to tighten it yet, so I got to get the chain on, and I believe I'm going to have to take a link out of the chain, so we'll see where we are after that. Okay, I got the nut on, but I don't have it tight. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this brake caliper back up here. Get that out of the way. The rest of my work will be on the other side with the chain. So that's what we're going to do next. Put that on, and I will be putting red Loctite on these too. Okay, you got the brake all back installed. There's red Loctite on there. It should tighten down. I just pretty much tighten it by hand. I don't think there's anything a torque specification that you can find for that. The rest of our work is going to be over here. We're going to work on putting the chain back on. So that'll be my next step. Alright, we got our chain back on, and I ended up taking one roller out. We got our chain adjusted here. I got about an inch play in the chain, and the nut on the other side, you got to torque this down to 65 foot-pounds. So that's tight. And next we just got to put our chain guard back on, and we should be ready to roll here. Yep, I think that's it. So we'll get that back on, and then we'll be done. And I'm probably going to put the red Loctite on these too, just because it's something you don't take off all the time. I'm just going to Loctite that. Alright, we got it all done. Probably just going to take it out in the yard. It's dark out right now, so I'm not, and it's raining. So I'm not really going to go out and check it out on the road. I'll have to wait till tomorrow. And we'll see. I know I've got the 15 tooth in the front, now 45 in the back. So we're going to see, I was getting like 62 miles an hour, and that was pretty much top. Wasn't really going to do much more than that. So we'll see what happens with this gear change here. I'm probably just going to run it up and down the street here, and just to make sure everything's working right. But tomorrow I'll take it out and check it, and we'll see what happens. Alright, thanks for watching. If I do it, maybe I'll post it down in the comments what the speed actually was that I got out of it after I'm done, so that you know. And thanks for watching.